but they had the confidence and the chops to be able to do new things and break, just create new ideas, with existing forms. I mean, that's just blues, but when they do it, it's not blues anymore. It's rock and roll, or even the blueprint for punk rock in a weird way, because of it's political in nature. It's pretty anti-establishment. It's cool, And then they have, really beautiful moments too, like. I mean, I'm not going to do any of them because I only learnt the heavy ones. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working. What I was brought up with was my father's record collection, and that had Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, and the Beatles' Hard Day's Night. That was the only rock and roll record he had, and that's the one I liked. Not to dump on Ella Fitzgerald or Frank Sinatra, but for me, as a child, that was the bomb. The thing I bonded with my bandmates on was things like Metallica and Slayer. So really heavy, fast thrash metal. By the time we get to the Fish album, and we'd just seen Oasis, who basically were a British band that looked at the Beatles and went, oh, we'll do that. We had a second generation sort of version of them, and so we started writing, things like so stuff like that. But then I just learnt back in the USSR, and I basically ripped it off without even knowing it. Flew in from Miami Beach, BOAC. Didn't get to bed last night. On the way, the paper bag was on my knee. Man, I had a dreadful flight. I'm back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are, boy. Back in the USSR. So it's basically the same thing. So they had more of an influence on me than I actually realized. I mean, great guitar players, but the thing is, they're not like virtuoso guitar players. They just knew how to write songs, man, and the way they play guitar, like, say, Revolution, Now that sounds really simple, but you still got to be in the groove, like you still got to be, you say you want a revolution, well, we all want to change the world. When we first started out as a metal band, everyone was like, showing their licks and chops and going, oh, check it out, man, I can play Bach, I can play classical music on my guitar, and it's like, yeah, you're good, man, but you got no soul, dude. But then you talk about destruction. The thing about the Beatles is they taught themselves, went around to mates' houses, learned new chords, then just learned by playing, and I really like that aesthetic. We can end up writing a song called, I Am the Walrus, which is just absolute madness, but it's just one of the best things you've ever heard, like, I am he as you are he, and you are me, and we are all together. See how they run like pigs from a gun, see how this night I'm crying. Semolina Pilchard, climbing up the Eiffel Tower. I mean, what does that f***ing mean? It means nothing, but it's so cool. It was one of my favourite songs, I Am the Walrus. It would have been a really weird, wild ride for those guys, because you listen to, say, their early stuff when it's all like, twist and shout and stuff like that, and it's like so happy rock and roll, and to go from that to Abbey Road and the depth of some of that stuff, like even, you know, George Harrison starting to like really blossom as a songwriter. In fact, my two favourite songs on Abbey Road are the two George Harrison tracks, which is Something and Here Comes the Sun. Brilliant songs. He wasn't considered one of the main songwriters up until that point, you know, and it was like, wow. Abbey Road's interesting to me because the high points in that album are probably better than anything they've done, you know, yet there's songs that I've just gone, yeah, no, it's not really for me. But in saying that, as a collection, and when you perform it on stage, because it was never performed on stage, when you perform it on stage, all of a sudden a lot of the songs which that don't really affect me when I listen to the record, they really come to life. Part of what makes this concert so great, they're amazing musicians, all of them, and really unique musicians, all of them, but we've all got the same goal, which is basically listen to what the material is, do everything you can in your power to make it sound as authentic and as close to the original as possible. Are you as committed to this idea as I am? Oh, you're even more committed. Okay, great, cool, let's go. Even though they'd become the blueprint for all rock and roll after it, they started off just like a garage rock band, you know. I came from a sort of working class upbringing as well. My dad was a Cockney Londoner. The Beatles are like the ultimate underdog band, you know. Sort of working class lads from, you know, Liverpool, and got better and better and better and more creative, which is choice. Ask me another question so I can come up with some more bullshit.